can, and just having a lot of coalescing and basically, hopefully, bringing Gene Roddenberry, obviously the creator of Star Trek, bringing his vision to life. Because I know a lot of people have an argument. Well, it's just a show. It's no long. I think it's evolved beyond a show. It's pretty much not to the point where it's a religion. I wouldn't say that. I'd never use the R word when it comes to Star Trek, but it's a philosophy that I think we all can just look at the base meaning of what it is and what get an idea for what his true vision was decades ago. And that's one of these things that the game and the concept of what they're doing with fleets is trying to bring together.
I think it's safe to say it's become a culture, you know?
Definitely a culture.
There are a lot of people I know who are like, I wish that Starfleet was real. I would enlist in a heartbeat. I would go and I would get into Starfleet Academy and I would get on a starship and serve on a starship and I'd be out there on the front lines like big time, like hands down, no questions asked. Like that's to wear the uniform, to be on a starship out there exploring and diplomacy and protecting the innocent. There's so many people I've met who have said stuff like that, myself included. If Starfleet were real,
I think we've all thought that once or twice. Yeah.
If Starfleet were real, I'd be out there, and I'd probably actually, honestly, I play an engineer on Star Trek Online, but honestly, I think I would probably be a Starfleet paramedic.
If they ever created that group, you probably would. I mean, myself, I'm a tactical officer in the game. I think I'd probably serve in that same capacity, if not somewhere in the operations aspect of it. But yeah, I don't see anyone who has either watched the show, played the game, or even looked at some of the other games. I mean, another good one that made me think that a lot was Elite Force. Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, they brought a lot of expansions to it. They created an entire RPG theme off of it. So, I mean, I would definitely see Star Trek Online as an evolution of that concept of an RPG type game, and I could definitely see myself one day donning a gold uniform and walking the halls of Starfleet, and if it were ever to exist, I mean, hopefully the predecession of how the Federation came to be in the movies, Khan and the World War III and all that stuff, I would hope that it doesn't come to pass and we can get there naturally through thought and evolution. But if we have to have that concept in it just to make it reality, then I hope I'm one of the ones that's spared to see that happen. I mean, I remember watching the second Star Trek series, the one by J.J. Abrams that came out 2 years ago, and when Kirk looked at the building of the Enterprise, which was completely different from the original movie on how he was brought into Starfleet and how he first saw the Enterprise, but when he watched them building it, I could just see in his eyes even though he was trying not to, you just saw oh my god, that is so cool. And that would
Absolutely.
be me. I'm sorry. I'd be standing there watching them build this thing, go, that's the ship I'm going to serve on right there.
So, back to the fleet. I have an understanding that I'm not sure if we still are, but we're looking for, or had been looking for, someone to lead the potential Romulan side of our fleet. Has that been found? Has that been filled? And if not, who can anyone in the fleet contact if they're interested in that?
Well, as always with anything, you can always contact myself or the president, John Hartman. you can always contact us for anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be for this. However, concerning the Romulan faction side of it, yes, we have found somebody to lead it. It has
Okay.
been one of our longtime players. Her name is Dea. She's always online in some capacity, whether she's playing or if she's just chit chatting or if she's helping. We have found that there are other positions. However, we are looking for somebody to back her up as her XO. We're also looking for other capacities to fill out that side. Um, each side is pretty integral. Even though myself and President Hartman oversee everything, we do let our other guys. We call them Grand Admiral, Supreme Commander for the Klingon side, and as of right now, Grand Admiral also for the Romulan side. We haven't decided an official title for her role, but we let them run their sides. We don't step in unless we absolutely have to, because I believe that we put them in that position to do so. Um, in terms of what positions are open in terms of command structure, we are looking for somebody to replace the head of the KDF side. We recently had asked that commanding officer to step down, not for anything he did, no violation of rules, just he came to us, brought up some issues, and we said, what would you like to do? And he voluntarily stepped down. He's still with the fleet. We actually moved him to the head of crafting on the KDF side because his characters have top level crafting on that side. So, it's always you know what, we tried it. It didn't feel right. We'd like to go here, and that's fine by us. Um,
Absolutely.
but we're always encouraging people to step up, have a voice. We're doing these fleet interviews. We're doing these fleet news service things, but we also have a weekly meeting that we all do, and we always invite everybody in the fleet. Whether you're just brand new, came on 2 days ago, or you've been with us since the foundation of the fleet, we invite you in. You come, you sit, you have a voice. I don't want anyone to ever say that, well, I left that fleet because they just didn't listen to me. And that was
Hmm.
some of the issues that we had when we founded the fleet, and through coming into the fleet. I didn't come into the fleet and I didn't start as vice president. I came into the fleet, and I had no position. I just was a member of the fleet, flew missions, teamed up with people, and had a fun time. They asked me at some point to take over one of the semi-administrative positions, be a second in command of one of the divisions, and I said, okay, no problem. And then ultimately it went up and up and up, and finally they were like, well, we would like to know if you want to become the vice president and second in command of the fleet. And I said, sure.
Right on. So let's talk about recent developments that have already been released in Star Trek Online just lately. What have we seen in the very recent past?
Well, in the very recent, are we talking about on the holodeck, or are we talking about
On
on the
holodeck.
test server Tribble?
On
On the
holodeck. That.
holodeck, okay.
Mhm.
The main game server. I got you. One of the things that has been happening a lot lately is a lot of upgrades to prepare for Legacy of Romulus. Like, I know right now our embassy has a project active, and actually I believe a project just went in today to bring more expansion to the embassy that is going to be on New Romulus. I believe it expands the shuttle bay now, so it doesn't look like you just have a shuttle bay. You also have a openable roof and a Romulan representative shuttle, and I do believe the newest assignment gives you Romulan dignitaries. So that's one aspect of it. In space combat, we've had the crystalline entity make a surprise return, and there's a nice little trick behind that. Sadly enough, I don't believe if anybody starts today, they would have enough time to pull it off. But if you wanted to, from now until May 2nd, if you run the crystalline catastrophe, that's the event, you can find it right there in the queues, you get a shard. If you go into your reputation screen, you'll see a new thing called event, and I guess this is